Mantis here with another VOD review. If you want a VOD review for yourself, just DM me. I'll be able to get to it fairly quick. Also, please comment, like, and sub on the channel. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow, and I appreciate it. So let's get started here. Past 40 games, 2 months, you're sitting at 18 wins, 20 losses, 47% win rate. And seems like you're pushing to get into platinum. Might have been platinum before. Yeah, you were briefly, but I'm gonna just tell you right now what I think about your match history. Is that you play way too many different champions, and that's harming your growth as a player. You could be easily platinum right now, at platinum higher rank right now, but you're constantly mixing in champions that you perhaps have a little bit of mastery on, but not too many. So on a quick glance, Viktor, Aurelia, Kassadin, Graves, alright? All these champion picks are above 50% win rate for you. Therefore, if you play these champions exclusively, you'll be climbing. Now, with the 5 games played champions, it's a small sample size, so you might experience more difficulties. But as you approach your more played champions, I can almost guarantee that you will have success, right? So starting my champions, last season Aurelia, Orianna, Lee Sin, but then Aurelia is the one that you see again, right? And then the season before that, it's just a bunch of different, right? So really want to just focus on one, right? Now going back to your match histories. Riven game, Nidalee game, Karthus game, Fiora, Sion, Veigar, these are all different champions. Sylas, Rengar, right? It's just unneeded if you want to climb, right? If you want to be serious about climbing, you can't be Taliyah. Can't be just throwing in random Jinx, Ashe. You play what you want to play whenever, right? But this is not the recipe for success. It's gonna be a long climb for you, right? It's gonna take years and years to climb to the next level because it takes so many games to probably, become good on these champions, right? Nidalee, yeah, you went 25 and 11, but that's just one game, right? Play 10 games of Nidalee in a row. Tell me what happens. Other than that, 2 hours ago, K'Sante. A day ago, 0-2, Seraphine. Dodge the Yasuo. When you have Yasuo, Yorick on the same team, instant dodge, right? Here, maybe you lane swap to top lane, but if you're laning mid against Ahri, you best believe you shouldn't be going 6 and 10, right? Do you think you would have went 6 and 10 if you played Viktor mid? Right, so I think that's enough for that. Let's get into a game. Now, I'm gonna check if you suggested. I don't think you suggested a game, to be honest. I think I asked you to upload a game, but I know it's not easy to do that. Preferably jungle. Okay, so you want to play jungle, but in the past 4 days you played jungle once. So that's fine, but can't be gifting free games. I'm gonna be saying this a lot, right? And it's you dying at first, right? You die at 30 minutes. So do we need to go over this game? Are you gonna play K'Sante again? It's like one of those things, right? So it's like you lose, you're like, oh, I already know why I lost. I don't really need to look at the game, right? But like, if you want to climb for the long term, you have to realize your mistakes and change them, right? Right. So right here I see just a little bit inexperience on the champion, right? There's good trading here, but slow it down here. The way you play it out, right, is like you walk into the wave. Okay, a challenger player once told me never trade into a cannon wave, right? So either knock down the cannon first or find different ways of trading, because when you trade into a cannon you get dealt so much damage, right? 24, 24, 24, 41, right? And then add it all together, right? It's just simple math. And then here, just movement of just walking straight into her without getting level 3 first. Just kind of shows the inexperience, and I think your Q expires, so you don't even get the knock up, right? It's just not what you should be doing in ranked, right? This is stuff you learn in normal games, or you learn from other ways, right? So just quickly on that one, and then we'll go deeper into a Graves one. Should be fine, yeah. This should be a fine game. But yeah, usually when you look at by yourself, when you're looking at overviews, kind of see where the big jumps are, right? So the big jump right here, and ask yourself what you could have been doing better there in that spot, right? And then another jump right here. Seems like you died a Yasuo, right? And then the big jump right here. Seems like Mordekaiser gets a triple, right? So this spot right here would be the spot that you want to look at. But yeah, if by yourself, you can easily do that kind of thing to get better. So let's look into the game, see what we got. First off, because you're playing jungle, it's so much beneficial to see your camera and how you use your camera. Your hotkeys especially. I know you said that you do have hotkeys for your camera control, but honestly, at your level, you're probably not using them the way you should be using them. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of how a professional does it, right? So he does a blue start solo, goes to Gromp, and immediately starts taking assessments on lane 1 look, 2 look, 3, 4, bottom, middle, right? And he's looking at the wave states, he's looking at who's trading, and he's deciding what's the best path, right? And I already know that you're probably not doing this at the level that you should be. And yeah, F1, F2, F3, F4, that's what you use. But again, it's just like players say they use it, but they don't. And as you can see, he's looking top lane, he sees the trading, and because of that, he adjusts his path to go topside to collect the free gold. And then as you can see, Kha'Zix is also doing the same thing, right? So junglers at a higher ELO are just doing this naturally, right? They just do it. They look with their cameras while they're clearing and make the best path, make the best decision on their path. If you're not doing this, you just need to start adjusting and doing it. And if you don't do it, you're gonna just fall behind in the jungle, right? That's why I asked you to upload your first person view, because I want to see how you use your camera. So they just warded your area here, right? That movement by them. There could be a ward right here or right here, right? Right. So you should know this, right? It just should be something that you know, right? Based on their movement. So when you go back and get the red trinket, you should also be trying to sweep this area because that's what they just did. They just warded, right? So looking at the lanes, K'Sante. So I know that Karma it's really easy to abuse Karma, especially if you have some kind of CC. So I see Zac. So level 3, probably free kills. And then mid lane, you gotta just see who's trading, and top lane, you gotta see who's trading, and maybe you can gank that lane, right? So far it's nothing special here. I mean, like, welcome to silver, right? Okay, this is a good, I'm liking what you're doing, that's nice. Make sure that Riven doesn't see you, though. It's fine, it's good. Good job. So a bunch of summoners were just used, right? And this is another time to see how you use your chat now. If you're timing the sums properly, I'll be able to see that in the chat. If I had the first person view for jungle, this is why jungle is so important to have the first person view, because if you're not doing these things, you can say you're doing these things, right? But I don't know, right? Generally want to be hitting the big one first. Very nice job. Although if you're going to be ganking this lane, I much prefer you to take this path up here. It's just it's a path that once you get right here, if you allow the waves to crash, or if the waves aren't in position to crash, you can find the timing to go around and pincer, as opposed to just walking up here. I think it's a way better path, and you should be looking for those paths, right? This is a great gank. You see an opportunity, right? But you could have saved a lot more time going the long way, going the short way, right? Good mechanics on the execution. So yeah, I think your grade's definitely good enough to climb up and down, ganking. It's the ELO, so it's just more patience, right? Good sweep, but just have a little bit more patience, right? Because let the wave meet each other, right? So it comes, and then the wave meets, and then Ziggs will start CSing, right? But when the wave is like this, it kind of gives a protection, right? And Ziggs can easily maneuver, right? But when the wave is meeting each other and he's occupied with it, it's easier to gank. It's just easier. You just can't. You can never take that. You can never take these free turret shots. This is just execution, but you just can never take them. Because now the enemy jungler sees this and they want to invade, right? And then it also just fucks you up because there's a gank opportunity bottom, but because you're so low HP, now you have to adjust, right? So Udyr can easily invade you now, right? You don't look bottom? What are you doing? You're gonna go... Yeah, so this is like an extremely important part where it's like I need to see how you're using your cameras, right? Because if you don't even look bottom once here, and it's... You should know that level 3 it's a free kill, and these guys are flashless as well. Right, so just walking here is just free, right? Like, yeah, they could have wards, right? But you're playing Graves. You can just jump over the wall and then go the long way, right? And if they do have wards here, it doesn't matter, right? Just commit to the gank, right? But just don't just walk through a try when you have abilities to go over the wall, right? And secondly, it's as if you know Udyr is in your jungle. You don't need to go chase and to confirm it, right? Udyr hasn't shown on the map. There's no reason for you to go here. You're like pinging, like I'm not sure if you're pinging to defend your jungle, but it's not the move, right? There's a move right here that you're just missing. And this comes back to camera control, being situationally aware, and in the jungle, that's one of the most important things, right? To be situationally aware, and then now you lose crab as well, right? So you could jump over the wall, got the crab ganked. The opportunity missed, right? So now you're looking for the blue, right? So you knew that Udyr was in this general area, but you just had to check to confirm, right? So this, like, if you're doing this kind of stuff where it's like you know, but you still go occupy your time to check, you have to know it's just not good movement, right? The play was in the other part of the map, but you just didn't see it. Now you have 1,000 gold, so after this you should think about backing. This is not a dive. So think about Udyr's path, right? It's so simple. So simple for him, right? So he invades while you gank, right? Takes this, goes to scuttle, goes to the other scuttle, right? It's just and he's up CS on you, right? So it's just so simple, right? What he's doing. Shows mid, takes the scuttle crab, and then goes back mid, right? Right, so like every one of his movements makes sense, right? But then you, on the other hand, right, when you make movements like this, wasted movements like this, right, you know, you fall behind, right? And I'm just trying to show you, like what happens when you make wasted movements, right? Opportunities are lost to the jungle when you're not really paying attention, right? So now it's like you're forcing a gank on a Riven who's full HP right beside a turret. Will this work? Absolutely not, right? So now that you revealed yourself, what is the other jungler going to do? He's going to go straight to Drake because he sees you topside and it's just free for him, right? You definitely needed to take this and just back, right? You need to be more deceptive, right? When you reveal yourself, the enemy players start making decisions based on what you're doing, right? So as soon as you reveal yourself, like I said, he goes straight to the Drake, right? So it's so simple for him, right? You're making it simple for him, right? You need to be a little bit more deceptive, right? Showing up is not good. And again, you're trying to force it too much. You need to just back at base, right? You have almost 1,500 gold that needs to be used, right? You need to find your backs. Like this is what I used to do when I played jungle at your ELO. It's just I wouldn't back because there's so much opportunity on the map to do stuff. I kind of just like forget about backing, right? And this is not something that you should ever do, right? What I think you should do is actually try to look for first person point of view Graves, right? So maybe there's some out there right now. So One Trick GG is a good website. and then hit up Graves, right? And then right here, VOD mode. Okay, there's no VODs, which sucks, but really maybe you're on NA, right? So this guy named Illusion, you know, you could probably even search him up in the client, right? In the client. And then watch how he plays, right? Just learn from it. Learn a little bit more about pathing and decision making in the jungle, right? This is harming you right now, especially your backs. And like this entire time, you haven't looked bottom, and bottom's free, right? This is like these opportunities are lost when you're not looking, right? If you get too hyper focused or tunneled on one thing, right? Like you want to focus on counter jungling this game, or counter jungling right now, right? But like look how they're playing middle, right? Maybe there's opportunity there, maybe not. Right, and you do eventually show up middle, but you don't get the assist, right? So this is something you have to take really you need to be aware of this, right? That adjustments can be made during while your path, right? Like you have a goal in mind, but these guys have a goal too, right? And if you make it a 3v1, you can almost guarantee that this might net a kill, right? But if you don't look for it or don't see it happening real time, you'll never make it, right? And then here, sorry about that. And then here, it's execution, right? I think you missed your dash and you had to flash. No, you just had to flash. But I wouldn't say this is execution. I would say this is more pathing, right? A little bit of more proper pathing will help you make better decisions here, right? And it's like when you climb higher and higher, it's on a thin ice, whether the play will work or not, and whether if you're there on time or they're not on time is like could be 1 or 2 seconds, right? So you gotta make sure your decisions and pathing are really good in the jungle. But yeah, it's just so hard to see what you're looking at, right? And like I don't really know exactly your thought processes. I'm just kind of assuming based on what I see here, right? And then now that you're bot lane, it's like it's just so late, right? Like this gank needed to happen a long time ago, and it's only happening out of pure coincidence that you're chasing Udyr, right? It's not because you decided that you wanted to gank here. It's convenient. It's just the play moved bot lane, and that's why you're bot lane, right? You didn't plan to come bot lane, right? You had no plan or desire to come bot lane almost this entire game, right? And now that you're here, it's just kind of awkward and you're chasing, right? You're kind of playing Udyr's game, right? Because Udyr is a champion that he wants you to chase him around the map. And then this is just it, right? It's like we can look at every little action flash, the skirmish here, right? But like you gotta look at the root, right? The root of the problem. And the root of the problem is not actively thinking about all your options while you're clearing, right? That's what I truly think. Just things like this in the early game just really harm you, right? And then plays like this, right, where you just show on a gank that's probably never gonna work, right? And then they make a play off of it. So other than that, I think that I dropped a little bit on you. One thing that you probably could think about doing now is that with your cameras, instead of F1 for ally 1, what I use is I use Z, X, C, and V, right? Ally 1, Ally 2, Ally 3, Ally 4. Whatever it feels comfortable for you, you just gotta start using these buttons properly, right? And more often. And I think that's gonna help you a lot to make better decisions in the jungle if you want to climb in the jungle, right? And then I also have mouse button 3 and 4 for ally 1 and 2. But then when you have your mouse buttons binded to camera, you could fat finger the camera and then it could fuck you up. And it's happened to me so many times in my life. But now I'm kind of like, it just kind of doesn't really happen because I'm just so used to pressing it. So I wouldn't suggest the mouse button. I would just suggest binding some new keys and maybe don't think about using F1, F2, F3. It's just not proper, I don't think so. And then here it's just like, you never want to be in this spot in solo queue where it's 1-1, you're down CS, and the enemy is up CS 1-0-3, right? You have to remember this is an ELO that you can easily crush, right? But you just have to start making the adjustments, right? And some games, yeah, your teammates are gonna be so bad, and they're just gonna shit the bed in jungle, right? But there's always things you could do or do to, you know, make better decisions, right? Here again, the gank is coming middle again, and your plan is to go find Riven who you don't even see, right? So it's like your decision making is a little bit off, right? You're not seeing the plays that potentially could be. And then Twitch dying here by himself is just, it's just what's gonna happen, right? Like if you're not pub stomping or you're not stomping in solo queue, you're relying on others to make the perfect best decisions to carry you. And I'm telling you right now, at this ELO, the perfect best decision is not going to happen from your allies, right? So you're going to have to be carrying these motherfuckers. That's it. So think about your path right now, right? So you come out of base, you clear 2 camps, and then you back. Right? So you back with 300 gold, but then you don't back with 1,000 gold, right? So it's like, you know, like something's off, right? Your decision making is just a little bit off. And then at this point, when it's like getting this fiesta-y, and everything's losing structure, and people are flaming each other, probably Twitch flaming. This guy doesn't want to go bottom because Twitch didn't help him out earlier. There's nothing you could do other than be 5-0 and be carrying, right? So like, all the mistakes in the early game need to be cleaned up so you can be at 9 minutes 41, 9 kills, enemy has 4, and you're chilling, right? You're vibing with more CS and kills, right? But it's a matter of getting there, right? So they're all off the map. What's your move, right? Like, look how they're playing, right? You know, like, these guys are just, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're playing bad. They're trolling, right? But that's why you never let it get to this point, right? All these other decisions you made in the early game ultimately affect this spot right here, right? Because when you're in this spot, like I said, you want to be up. And with that, I think I dropped a little bit on you, and hopefully you learned a little bit something and it helps. And good luck on the Rift.